Welcome to the Still Gender Podcast, Earthlings. This is the show where we will dive into taboo topics and the stuff we didn't learn in school. Here we will talk about actionable tips, tricks, and strategies for the out-of-the-box thinkers, dreamers, and weird folks who don't quite fit in with the cultural norms, who just want to live authentically too. No more feeling misunderstood or alone, because here we are all a little strange, and that is celebrated. I'm talking to you, Misfit, and I am your mother, Misfit, Laura Stiljander. So let's start practicing compassion with ourselves and push that love and light out to others. Yeehaw! Let's go. I've been pondering and consumed by an idea this week and last week and the week before. So if it's on my mind, it could be on your mind too. And maybe it's not something that you've thought about at all, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. And maybe we can all reflect on this as a community together. I'm thinking about how life right now is so packed. It's jam-packed with working, and if you're in school, you're doing that grind. If you've got kids, you've got that full-time thing going on. We have to work out and eat well and meditate and still grab either a drink or a mocktail with a friend. We're busy, y'all, and I'm not going to sit here and glorify being busy because I don't think that that's a badge of honor, but I do like getting my hands dirty in different things, and I know you do too. You want to go try that new craft brew. You want to go try that kombucha bar. You want to read that book. You want to go to that yoga class. You want to go on a walk with your mom or your friend, right? Like, we all want to do these things. However, life sometimes gets in the way, and I'll find myself saying, oh no, I can't go out to serve. I gotta work. And it's true, I'm probably more behind than ahead in my work. So it got me thinking, why are we so busy? What is taking up my time and bandwidth that I think that could be cut out? Let's trim the fat, the bad fat, shall we? So to speak. So I'm thinking about this, and a lot of my bandwidth, and if you're in college, this will be you one day. It will be. Just give it 5 years or 10 or less, depending on your track. But my house takes up so much bandwidth. Now, if you're living in a dorm or you're in a rental, this may not apply to you yet, but I bet you one day you're going to go out and get a house or a condo or an apartment or something. One day, that's probably on your trajectory. It's part of adulting, I guess. That's what I'm told. So my wife and I bought our house a few years ago, and it's my first house that I purchased, her second. And I've noticed how much of a time suck, money suck it is. But I also know the benefits of having your own home. You can make it your own oasis. You're putting money away, and not in an investment, but hopefully you're paying towards a mortgage, and one day you can sell it for more, right? It's an asset. And I get the reasons why you should have a house. However, it's taking up so much time. Fixing it up, trimming the grass, cutting down bushes, cutting down trees, unfortunately, if they're falling on your house, or if you live in a hurricane area, cleaning the floors, wiping stuff down, dusting, all the stuff, cleaning the showers, cleaning the tubs, cleaning the toilets. Like, holy smokes, it just keeps going and going. And I know a lot of millennials are thinking this way. And if you're not a millennial, I still welcome you with this train of thought. You could be here, you could not be. But can we make our lives a little bit more simple so that we can complicate it with travel and books and feeding our souls and our mind and our hearts rather than trimming the grass over and over again? Now, for some of you, you may want a yard that your dog and your kids can run around in. You may want to trim grass, and you may find peace in that. And that's what I thought I wanted. I thought I wanted a nice piece of land, I could garden and all the things. But then I started realizing it was taking up so much time. And the bigger square footage, we live in about 1,500 square feet, the more stuff I started to accumulate. And I have an attic full of fun gear, but a lot of stuff. And so now I feel like instead on the weekends that I'm playing, I'm either managing our stuff or working on our house. Now, you know that we are DIYers, do-it-yourselfers. And that's because it saves us thousands of dollars. So either we're doing it ourselves or we're working so we can pay for someone to do stuff. of thinking and feeling that this house and my stuff is starting to own me. Just like I kind of talked about in a couple podcasts before this, how your phone and technology can start to own you. You can't put it down. You have to go to the bathroom with it. It's always going to be on you or else you feel naked in a bad way. Sometimes we feel like that with technology. It's got to be honest. It's got to be close by. Oh, I haven't checked it in an hour. I should probably check it. I'm starting to feel like my house and my stuff is starting to own me. And I don't like that feeling. Again, you may have this picturesque idea of buying your first home and cutting the grass and planting your bushes and gardening. And it may seem really romantic, but I'm on year 4, I think we are, year 4, and it's not romantic anymore. It's starting to own me now. And I'm starting to become a little bit resentful. I have this beautiful space. I have a lot of space, but it's beautiful with a lot of stuff that I enjoy. But it's a lot of stuff. And instead of surfing and meditating and going off on retreats, I'm at home trimming, cutting, dusting, and organizing. And I don't really think that's what life is about. Life is, for us, if you're here, it's more than that. It's deeper than that. Yes, there's something really fulfilling about painting a room and being like, and it's done. And it's fun when that happens, from time to time, but not every weekend or most weekends of the month. I feel like it's owning me. So whether it's a house or your technology, is there something that's taking up your bandwidth more than it should? This could even be your work. And sometimes we go through seasons of life where our work has to come first, second, or third. But if this is what our life is going to be, I don't think that y'all listening here with me, we're not living to work. We're working to live. We want to live our life. We want to feed our soul. We want to feed our hearts. We want experiences. And now I'm feeling a little bit burdened with all of the stuff. So how can we simplify our life a little bit more? For me, it's to get a smaller house, to get rid of some stuff. Walking into my closet and saying, I haven't worn that shirt in like 3 years. Get rid of it. What is it for you? Is it your surroundings? Are you looking around your room or wherever you are right now and saying, well, I haven't really used that. And then that little feeling and that little voice comes up, but you could use it next week or a month from now. I don't know. I'm really starting to purge my stuff and it feels so good. I've had a yard sale. I'll donate things. It feels freeing, liberating. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about being a minimalist because I don't consider myself a minimalist, but I am looking for simplicity, more simplicity so I can complicate it with stuff that I want to complicate it with. Like I've always wanted to learn Spanish. However, I'm too caught up in doing stuff for my house and juggling my social life, my workouts and meditation, and my job and my life. There's not a lot of extra time and bandwidth in my brain to learn another language. If I freed up my house and my space time, then yeah, I totally could do that. So is there something that you've told yourself, like, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to learn how to knit or play the guitar, but you've got so much going on in your life. Where can you trim the fat so you can start to feed your life the stuff that you want? I think that's where I'm at. And if you're somewhere else in your journey and in your path and in your life, that's fine. You could trim your fat maybe somewhere else. I know we all, most of us, unless you're independently wealthy, have to work. But where else could you trim the fat? Is your work taking over your life? Is it just the season where your work has to come to first, second, or third priority in your life? Do you see a season where it's not? I'm all about working hard, but let's be real. We like to play hard as well. There can be a little bit more of a balance. I was watching a documentary on the PCT, which is this really long trail out west. And a lot of people who were hiking it were talking about how they came down with some cancer diagnosis where they only had so long to live, and they started reflecting back on their lives. This can happen to us. And these people would say things about their condition where they wish they had more time to do the things that they actually love to do. They're not going to remember the dusting and the cleaning and the trimming of the grass. They're going to remember the experiences they had with the people they made them with. And you know how some people, when you ask them, hey, how are you doing? And they go, living the dream, but they don't mean it. They're being very sarcastic. Odds are, if you're listening to this podcast, that is not the response that you want to give people. You actually want to be living your dream, living your life's purpose, living your life's mission, having fun. And I think keeping other things simple, keeping certain facets of your life simple so we can complicate it with travel, experiences, things that feed our mind, our heart, and our souls are worth so much more than an attic full of stuff that we will pull out from time to time. Again, if you're wanting to simplify your life in a different way, where can you trim that fat? We all want to look back on our lives and say, that was an awesome ride. Look at all the cool stuff I've done. Instead of, well, what did I do? I worked really hard and maybe spent my money on a mortgage and bills and didn't do too much. Odds are, if you're listening to this, that is not where you're trying to go. So where can we trim our fat? I think it's my house. So if you follow me on the gram, you know that my house is cool. It's pretty, but this has got to go. And so we've met with a realtor and we've been looking at some smaller spaces like condominiums. So I'm not constantly doing yard work all weekend long, and I can learn my Spanish and do more surfing. So where can you trim your fat? It's not easy, but it's going to be so worth it. Life will get so much simpler. So we can complicate it in the ways that we want to. Trim the fat. Trim the fat. Okay. All right, you get it. But for real, think about where you can trim that fat and then trim it off. I'll talk to you next week, y'all. Practice that compassion and send that love and light out. I will talk to you next week. Meow. Oh yeah, still here. Holla at ya. LauraSiljander.com is where you can find me. On Instagram, it's practice_compassion. Send me some love if you want to. Alright, bye now. Shalom.